getting engaged, buying my first house, moving into a 9-to-5 job. Hindsight is the most beautiful thing you could ever experience. I'm talking big life milestones here. I'm not talking just some cute little breakthroughs and some little moments. Welcome back to another episode of Start Somewhere, the podcast. I have been so pleasantly overwhelmed and filled with absolute joy from all of the positive feedback that we've received from all of our listeners since announcing Start Somewhere is back. If you haven't seen or heard, because we also are publishing our episodes to YouTube to watch, we did a little sneaky soft launch release at the start of September. We did a 2-episode drop and I shared those 2 weeks ago on the podcast. And so now we're back with another episode, and oh my gosh, guys, the feedback, the messages, the DMs, the texts, the comments, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, it just absolutely speaks for itself. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of those who have been tuning in and supporting. I know we have a lot of new listeners on the podcast. I did an Instagram story when we first launched the soft release, and I looked at the stats and our listenership had grown by 62%, which is pretty fucking big. So that's quite a phenomenal jump. So a lot of new listeners, a lot of new audience members in our community in Start Somewhere. My name is Isabel Rose Prestia, if I have not already said that, or if you do not know who I am. Hello, thank you so much for being here. And this is going to be an episode really all about the origin of Start Somewhere. Starting with the first step, not the entire staircase. This is going to be a super simple, bite-sized piece of content for you because I'm going to be sharing 2 super simple steps for you to take. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube, I have these headphones on, but I'm going to take them off because they're ruining my hair, and that's not what we want. So let's begin firstly. Okay, so I've evolved. I was evolving. I still am evolving. So I took a much needed break and not a much needed step back, a much needed step back after 3+ years of podcasting. This also involved posting and broadcasting pretty much so many parts of my life online, not just from my breakfast and my selfies before going to the gym, but things like my thoughts, my insights, right? My learnings. And this is what this podcast is. And this is so much of what my coaching was as well. And oh my, have I had a wild 12 months, to say the least. I'm talking big life milestones here. I'm not talking just some cute little breakthroughs and some little moments. I'm talking things like getting engaged, buying my first house, moving into a 9-to-5 job. So these are all like pretty big life transitions. And I think the 9-to-5 job is, I just felt like when I said that is the thing, that is like the shift or the change that doesn't really make sense with me the most. Because I know I'm the most multi-passionate, spirited entrepreneur at my core, but I've had a really beautiful shift where I realized that there is so many skills and so much we can learn from getting a job. And it shouldn't be viewed as something bad or wrong if you are a business owner, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are somebody that does want to work for themselves. So this 9-to-5 job I had has served me tremendously. And it's given me such an invaluable skill set that, I probably most likely would have learned all those skills on my own, but instead I just learned them so much quicker. I was getting paid to learn them. I was in an environment with a team. The connections, the networking I've done since being in this job has been next to none. For those of you who don't know, I currently, keyword currently, live in Adelaide, South Australia. We're a small little town compared to your Melbourne and Sydney's. And the thing with Adelaide is you can go to an event or you can even walk down the street and you either will bump into somebody you know or somebody who knows you, right? So it's like that mutual connection. So if you have a good reputation, if you are if you are well connected, Adelaide is fantastic for that reason. And I'm very fortunate to be in that position. And so I've been doing a bunch of networking events and opportunities, and it's been fantastic for that. So I felt like my network has times 100 grown in the past over 12 months. So love that for me. That job I had really, really served me and helped me with that. And I'm so grateful for all those experiences and all that opportunity that it gave me. But I also want to talk about lessons and endings and insights into real life experiences, which are more invaluable. Living through experience is more invaluable than any book or podcast. Of course, this podcast is incredibly valuable, but any other self-development medium that I could get my hands on to consume would have given me the wisdom and the life experience that these past 12 plus months have given me. And I took a leap. I just finished it now, but the book I was reading in September, it's by Marie Forleo and it's called Everything is Figure-outable. I'm pretty sure that's a made-up word. And this line in the book really stuck out to me and has been quite an anchor in a lot of the content I've been creating a lot recently. And that is that we all know it takes courage to pursue a dream. We all know this. But the second tier to this is that it takes even more courage to end this dream when it no longer aligns with you. And then I'm going to add a third tier to this, which is it takes a whole new level of courage to restart something once you've taken a step back from it, right? And that is something that I probably never could have properly grasped unless I had lived it, okay? And so I'm sure you're the same with me. We believe that everything happens for a reason, okay? And I know a really big theme of the past 2 episodes was life is always happening for you, not to you. And whether you're going through a great experience or a massive letdown, there is a reason, there is a lesson for that. You may not see what that is yet, but it will come to the surface soon enough. It will come to the surface when it needs to come to the surface. And what I've also realized is hindsight is the most beautiful thing you could ever experience. And what I'm talking about here is being able to see things from a different perspective. And I heard this really quite interesting metaphor. So think of a coin. There's heads, there's tails. When you're looking at it, you're holding it up vertically. I had to think about that for a second. You can only see one side of the coin. Okay, and think of a life situation, a problem, a challenge, a conflict, anything. Think of a situation like this. You are only seeing one side of the coin. It's not until you can grasp, get a bird's eye view, see a whole nother perspective, view it through a whole other different lens, can you now see the other side of that coin, okay? So now we have a bird's eye view. We can see both sides. We're not just fixated and we're not just facing on this one side. And I've had this beautiful gift of hindsight recently. I've been able to not only hear this metaphor, read about this, but actually experience it. And the profound insights and downloads I've had from distance, from space, from viewing things from a different viewpoint, not only just from shifting my perspective and being like, okay, how can I view this differently? But from a point where I have given myself physical space, which has then changed emotions, viewpoints, perspectives, mindsets, actions, everything. And so this actually isn't even in my notes, this whole little spiel here, but I invite you to ask yourself the question, Where in your life can you grasp more hindsight? Where can you grasp yourself the gift of hindsight? And what I mean by this is, where can you grasp a different understanding, a different perspective? Where can you step back more in your life to view things from a different viewpoint? Because more times than not, there is something you're not seeing clearly. Because more often than not, we are so in our situations. We are so in what we're doing. We're in our job. We're in our life. We're in our bodies. We're in our routines. We're in so much of everything, right? Hold on with me here. But where can we be? And oh my gosh, this chair is so squeaky. Where can we be more of ourselves? And, we've all heard this as well. We're human beings, not human doings. And I know I'm now entering a season where I have been very in my masculine recently. So many shifts, so many changes. Every week it's like, oh my gosh, next thing, shift, adapt, change, evolve, like so many things, right? And I know and I feel this like energetically, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all the things, that is coming to an end. And what I mean by that is these physical changes are coming to an end. All of this doing. I've been doing. So it's like, okay, now I get to be. And ask yourself, where have you been, firstly, doing so much? You're just ticking things off your list. You're doing things. I need to go to the gym. I need to do this. I need to do my work. I need to come home so then I can do this and then I can do this. And then I need to hurry up to get to end of Monday, then end of the week, and then Friday, and then the weekend, and then Sunday rolls around. And you know what I mean? But instead, where can we just be more? And it's difficult and it's challenging and it's uncomfortable because we live in a world that's so hyper masculine. We live in a world that's this is really interesting here. Being busy is worn as a badge of honor. You, I'm sure, are guilty of this. I am as well. We all are. Somebody asks, how have you been? Oh, really busy. Oh, just working. Those two answers, just working and really busy. I'm sorry, but that sounds like a really boring life I don't want to be living, where that's the only thing I'm doing is just working and I'm so busy. Where's the fun? Where's the play? Where's the joy? Where's the fun, spontaneous experiences or the beautiful connections and conversations or anything like that? Where's that? So where can you be more in life? Where can you slow down? And I've had quite a masculine go season, but I have not been busy. In fact, I've been the opposite of busy. Everybody around me is saying how busy they are at their work. And I'm sitting there being like, fuck, I wish I was busy because I'm so bored right now. Like, I've been so bored. And I had this really beautiful moment where I'm like, okay. I'm probably going to be this quote unquote busy person soon. So how can I enjoy these slower moments? How can I enjoy these slower moments? We're being bored. Okay, let's not say we're bored. Let's see how we can fill this time in a way of, you guessed it, being more. Not always doing and thinking, what's next? I'll do this. So for some reason that had to come out and I had to share that with you guys. Fun fact, whenever I do record, I always set intentions that the recording goes perfectly and that I get the right messages out and everything comes out very guided and intuitive. And I mean, whether you are a new or long-time listener of the podcast, I'll let you know that I love spirituality and being very connected to intuition and your higher self and all those things. I'm a long-time meditator, a master manifester. I manifest like pretty much everything in my life. So the more I tap in and the more I practice these, the more beautiful intuitive downloads I get. And I've been getting a bunch of these recently. So yeah, you best believe I'm unlocking some pretty special like inner insights within my life. So anyway, let's dive into the content, the crux of this episode. I really want to keep this short and simple and straight to the point because that is just the vibe at the moment. So firstly, 1 out of 2. Number 1, starting with the first step. Starting with the first step, not the entire staircase. What is this first initial step you keep talking about? I want you to ask yourself, and before I ask this question, get a situation in your mind, something you are wanting to achieve, create, have, be, anything. What is that initial first step you can take immediately? And when I say immediately, I do mean, in fact, immediately. I don't mean later or tomorrow or next week or once this happens or once that happens or one insert any other excuse you have happens. But right now. Perhaps this situation is you want a new job. And maybe right now you're plugging in and you are at your current job. And you maybe can't just bring up your LinkedIn or Seek or anything like that and start applying for work whilst your boss is nearby you. Can you start to browse jobs in your lunch break? Can you quickly write a list in the notes app of your phone of just some ideas you have of what you think or feel is missing from your current job? Okay? There's this really beautiful piece that I am continuously reminded of myself. And that is when you want to manifest, when you want to create anything in your life, if you take one step, the universe takes 10 steps. The universe is just waiting for you to take that step forward because it will reward you when it can see you taking the action. So think of it like that. You're taking one step, the universe is taking 10 steps, but the universe is not going to take a single step unless you do first. But remember, life and everything is designed to work out for you, okay? Your life isn't designed to not work out for you. Yeah, we go through challenges and hardships and obstacles and heartbreaks and losses and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That, my love, is life, okay? But those experiences happen for us to learn beautiful lessons and to learn about ourselves. And I think that the more I go through life as well, I'm in my mid-20s, mid to late 20s. I'm saying mid-20s still. And life does not get easier, but we get better at handling what comes our way. And if that isn't the most beautiful glimpse of hope, I don't know what else is. Because I really believe this, but I feel sometimes we actually don't recognize how strong we really are. And practice this in the physical. And what I mean by this is at the gym, whenever you think you can't do one more rep or run for one more minute, you actually can. It's your mindset that is telling you can't do it. But when you prove yourself wrong to your mindset and you do the thing, you are unlocking and creating this really beautiful new resilience within you. And I'm sure you've experienced this if you're somebody. I'll use exercise as an example. I've been going for runs a lot recently. And when I feel like stopping, I tell myself, keep going. One more song, 10 more seconds, 100 more meters, whatever little milestone I give myself. And when I achieve that, oh my God, the dopamine hit is real. And that carries on with me throughout my day, which carries on with me throughout my week, throughout my month, throughout my life, okay? This is that first step piece I'm talking about. But if instead I was like, no, I'm too tired, or no, I said I would stop after 10 minutes or 2 kilometers or whatever that is, and you stop, you're missing out. You're missing out on the magic. You're missing out on finding out what you're truly capable of. So ask yourself, what is that first step you can take to get yourself closer to this dream life, to get yourself closer to the thing that you want to achieve? And number 2, how can you align the current version of yourself with the future version of yourself who already has the things you want? And this is something I've really been just brainwashing in my mind, particularly in the last 24 hours. So recent, this is fresh. I've been doing this. I've been going hardcore on this. I was on a walk just before and I'm constantly asking myself this question, okay, who is this version of Isabel that has insert thing I want? Okay. I'm like, okay, maybe she's doing this, maybe she's doing that. And nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want to birth and create or even bring about something small into your life, whatever you're doing now is not going to cut it. As simple as that. If you have this beautiful big vision to be a superstar singer on stage, I guarantee whatever life you're living right now is not going to be anywhere near the same as that future life. And I use that really big example as a reason. But don't be fearful of that and use step one, which is starting with the first step. What is that first step you can take towards being that person that has the things you want? And I encourage you to go as simple as possible. Start with really simple things such as your looks, your hair, your fashion, your nails, how you present yourself, how you hold yourself. Like, this is a really random example, but maybe you at the moment are somebody that washes their hair once a week. Okay? Bear with me for a moment. And you have this beautiful vision in your life. You're leaving the city you live in. You're getting this incredible job overseas, perhaps. You're with your future husband. You're surrounded by such aligned friendships. Okay? This version of you is expansive. It's big. It's doing things. Like, she is moving through life. She is holding herself high. Maybe she's not only washing her hair once a week anymore. Maybe she's doing something different. And hold on with me with this like really random example. I really love to give these random examples because it just shows how simple it is to actually change your life. It doesn't require like a big breakthrough or a big traumatic ending or anything like that, like a big health scare. It doesn't require that. It can be really, really simple. And so ask yourself this. Like, for me, it involved getting my nails painted a different color. If you're watching the video, my nails are this really dark purple color. And when I first got it done, I walked out and I hated it. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I hate my nails. This is not what I want. I'm so used to getting like pastel pink. And I sat with it for a few days and I was like, should I go back and get it changed? I'm like, no, that's a waste of time and money. I don't want to do that. And now I love it. I fucking love it. It looks so chic and so sleek. And the reason I'm saying this is because when I was, like I shared, I'm doing this like as we record, as we speak. I'm like, okay, this version of me that has the things I want to have. For so long, I've been used to getting this really beautiful like pastel pink nail color, but I'm really wanting to shift things up. So what is that version of me now doing? Getting darker nails. Okay? Like, I laugh at how random and simple this example is, but it's working and it works, okay? Because you need to show up differently, right? Because it's an identity shift that we have. That's all manifesting is, and that's all changing our reality is. It's shifting our identity, okay? If you're somebody, like this is another random example, like think of alcoholics, for example. They identify with being an alcoholic, with consuming so much alcohol and drinking and this and that. It's who they are. And that's with a lot of habits. People identify, people associate with it. And like a fun little thing I do with myself, with how I stay so committed to exercising, I don't laugh here, I identify as being an athlete. I say this to myself, I know I'm not an athlete. Oh my God. Like, I can't even run that far. I can't even lift that heavy. But I identify as one, which helps me be consistent in my eating, my routines, my dedication. I have been doing some kind of physical activity every single day for probably over 3 years. Because I identify as that, right? And it all it is a simple mind shift, a simple reality shift. So ask yourself, what are some changes you can take? Is it styling your hair differently? Is it wearing different clothes? Here's another random one. Is it sleeping on the other side of the bed? The point is, like I've already said, nothing changes if nothing changes. So how on earth can you bring about something new into your life if you're currently still stuck doing the same, living the same, moving the same? Even when I order my morning coffee from the coffee shop near my office. I always order a different coffee. There's no consistency in my order. And it's funny because I've made quite good friends with the barista and the worker there. And they're like, we can't keep up with this. It's just so different every time. A long black, a skinny latte, an almond cappuccino, whatever it is. And it's because I just like to keep it fresh and different. I just think I don't want this like wakes up same day, goes to the coffee shop, same time, drinks the same coffee, same. Like, oh my gosh, boring. Mix it up, like honestly. And it's like I feel I have a different day depending on, first of all, I'm craving something different, but I feel I have a different day depending on whatever I order. And like, it's just funny because they're like, we want to pre-make your coffee for you because you come in every morning, but we just can't. I'm like, yeah, I know. Keep it fresh, keep it different, okay? So I'm going to wrap up this episode here. I want to keep these episodes quite bite-sized and easy to consume. So in summary, starting with the first step, that instant step you can take right now. And I don't mean when you get home from work. I don't mean later this evening. I don't mean tomorrow. I don't mean next week. I mean right now. Okay? And secondly, how can you align the current version of yourself right now who's listening to this episode with the future version of you who already has these things? And get creative. Let it be fun. Let it be simple. Maybe it's styling your hair differently. It's wearing a different outfit to work. It's eating something different at lunch. Have fun with it. Lean into it because you'll be so surprised at what you discover and what you really enjoy, or maybe you don't enjoy. Maybe you do mix it up and you're like, hold up, I hate all of this. I want to go back to whatever I was doing. Great, perfect. You've experienced it. You've tried it. You know that's not for you. You can find the next thing. There's no right or wrong. And so that brings us to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, all the things, and it would help us out so much. If you feel anything from this episode could help a friend of yours, a loved one, anybody in your life, be sure to share it with them. Be sure to share the love, share the content. That way we can help more people start somewhere together.